So, guys, shortly after we recorded the last episode at work, I went and got a Tesco meal deal, as we have previously noted in the podcast as one of our favourite go-to meals. And one of my items in the Tesco's meal deal was a Scotch egg. So I was like, oh, brilliant. It's a massive Scotch egg. I'm absolutely looking forward to this. I'm going to nom it. It's going to be brilliant. I bite into the Scotch egg and I was like, strange, I can't taste any egg. So I look into the Scotch egg and to my surprise, there was no fucking egg in my Scotch egg. So I thought, right, have I actually bought what I should do? So I looked at the packaging and it said, oh yeah, this is approximately 50% egg. And I was like, is it fuck? So that just leads me on a question that I want to propose to you guys. What things have you bought, or in terms of items or media, where you've looked at the packaging and be like, right, this is going to be amazing, but when you actually consume said item or media, it's been nothing but disappointment?
I have a very sad tale. I told Brandon knows this. I told him at my birthday party this year. Was it early? Yeah, it was early this year. So early this year, there was a Berserk figurine going around on social media, and a couple of my friends linked me it, and yeah, it looked amazing. I was like, oh, it looks so good. It looks, for the price, that's decent. So I bought it. It finally came. It was around my birthday, and I opened the package, and I saw the figurine, and I went, did I really just spend that money on this? It looks fucking dog shit. Until just now, Brandon, you were the only one to know about this. I think you knew that anyway. But this, I'm probably going to put it, I think when this episode comes out, I'll put on social media it and be like, I can't believe I bought this. So that people can see what it actually looks like. But I think after this episode is out, I'm going to bin it because it looks shit. It has a light in it as well. Not even 5 seconds after I opened it, the light just fell out.
Oh my god!
It looks awful. It's a figurine of Guts from Berserk, and in his Berserker armor, and the ears on the Berserker armor have been shaved off. It doesn't look anything like him. It doesn't even look anything like the Berserker armor. It looks appalling. A Nendroid would look better than that. A fucking pop would look better than this figurine.
There's no need to go that far. What you're saying, Dan, is it makes you berserk.
Yep. I'm going to actually get a picture and show you, Chris, so you can actually see what it looks like. It looks dire.
Cool. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
To also answer your question, Brandon, nothing immediately swings to mind because I'm kind of wary with like what I buy. I kind of know if I'm going to like something before I get it. But if I have to stress one thing that I was disappointed in, and it's a weird one, chocolate beer. Like chocolate flavoured beer. I like both of those things, but you put them together and they're this taste of rum. How do you fuck this up? How do you get two nice things, put them together, and make something that's not right? No, it doesn't work. Chocolate beer, this doesn't work. Just don't do it to your kids. Just have chocolate and beer at separate intervals, with about a half second between you eating and drinking one or the other.
So you say it tasted like rum?
It didn't taste like anything except disappointment and sadness. it probably tastes the same as your Berserk figure.
I thought you said it tasted like rum, so I was like, oh, wait, what?
It tastes wrong.
Wrong. Oh, okay.
I thought you said taste of rum.
I was like, how is that a bad taste?
All right. Well, it tastes like rum has gone wrong.
Right. Okay, that makes far more sense. Now I'm like, what? How? That'll be an awesome taste. It tastes like rum, but yeah, that makes sense. It tastes wrong. Okay. Yeah.
Is this a fluff line from Pirates of the Caribbean? It's like, rise of rum, always wrong.
No, I think if we're talking about like an actual something gaming wise, of like, I guess it's like being really excited for a game and then you play it and then it's just like, well, that was a disappointment. I think the one that really comes to mind, and I think I've spoken about this so many times about my disappointment with this game. It's Assassin's Creed 3. I pre-ordered it. That year I played all from 1 to Revelations. I really liked the series. I pre-ordered 3. With the pre-order, I even got the season pass and played it, sold the game, never even touched the season pass. Yeah, I think that just says it all.
I think if we talk about disappointing games, we could be here an entire episode.
Yeah, I think we could, but I think of recent memory.
Spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about one later on in this episode.
I was say if it was for me, the most disappointing games I've probably played is like when I got that Star Wars Battlefront EA game. I was very disappointed with that. And then the other games, surprisingly, considering I'm such a fanboy of the series, was Dynasty Warriors 9. I just I can't remember if I spoke about this before, but it just didn't feel right. Like I was really excited about the prospect of the open world aspects, the crafting system, and just how fucking huge the map was. But it just was so complicated to try and get the timeline to advance as it would do in an all Dynasty Warriors that the leveling up method was okay, but it's just like there was not really any uniqueness to a lot of the enemies. Like there were so many repeated move sets. Like you just go for ages and not really advance anything, and like you wouldn't be able to relive the actual stories as you would in previous games. And I was really, really excited about it because I was like, wow, massive open world, but it just didn't play out. It was a complete disappointment. I wish I liked it more, but I just couldn't.
So I think the moral of this intro is always remember to don't drink the wrong rum, don't keep a statue of a Scotch egg, and don't eat a dessert.
Welcome to Victory Achieved Podcast, a video game podcast. We are now 1 year stronger. We have leveled up. We are Victory Achieved. And I am Dan, and we have Brandon and Chris, like always.
Always. Together.
Always. Hold on, you just say 1 year stronger. I got diagnosed with a hiatus hernia this year, so if anything, I'm weak.
We're still 1 year stronger as a podcast.
We're approaching the terrible twos.
We are now into our second season, if you wanted to call it that. I don't know.
Season 2.
I didn't put like season 1 on any of the episodes we released. Not that it really matters.
Hang on, if this is season 2, do we get a bigger budget? Do we get like a different intro? Like,
I actually did change the intro, funny enough, for our 1 year anniversary episode. So if you do actually listen to it, I meant these two because they don't always re-listen to it.
But we were there.
It does have the intro is slightly changed. Not much. It's like I've just put in a different sound before we start the intro. So there's now 3 sound clips, and I might do it again.
3. The budget has increased.
Yeah. But anyway, on to video games. Last time there was a video game that we didn't actually get to talk about. Well, we have spoken about it before, but now someone else among us has played it. My second favourite game of this year. What is it, Brandon?
Is it Vampire Survivors?
It might be, yeah.
Yeah, so I downloaded Vampire Survivors once I got my PC back up and running so I can continue streaming, and it's the first game I streamed since moving to the house, and I didn't realise just how bloody catchy the music is in the game.
Oh, it's so good.
And just how cool, like the actual aspect of the game is like just the retro 2D I'd say hack and slash, but it's just like you just move and your character automatically does stuff.
It's a bullet hell.
Yeah, I've never really played a bullet hell game apart from, I might have played some ones for like when I was back in, like secondary school, like the old Flash games.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is so fun. The fact it's like £2.
Yeah.
It is amazing. And honestly, I'm only like at the start of it, so I've not really got like a lot further in it. But
well, they keep like adding things quite recently because I hadn't been on it for a little while, and I came back and it was like I noticed they'd added so much new stuff. I was like, oh wow, okay. So like it's worth like going on every now and then to see what they add. It's still in early access, so technically it's not even a fully a full game fully released, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, how did you find it when you were playing it, and like what power ups and what character you use and stuff like that?
I would say that obviously, I think for me it just depends on the map. I can't remember the names of the characters off by heart,
That's
but I mean
fine.
some of them just feel useless at times, and some of them just seem like ridiculously strong at times as well. So it's just like, okay, trying to figure out what's good for what, and then but for me, I don't know if it's just because I'm early in the game and I've only got the second map. Is how do I actually unlock more maps? Obviously, for the first one, I was just playing it, and after a few times I died, all of a sudden the second map was found. I was just like, where have you just appeared from? I didn't know I unlocked you.
On Vampire Survivors, on the menu, it has on the main menu it has unlocks, and on there it will have the majority of how you unlock stuff. There are secret things that you can unlock, like secret characters that will not be revealed to you. Because there's secret characters you can unlock in the levels, and there's even more secret characters you can unlock, which I don't know how the extra ones you unlock, but the ones in the level, I've got two or three of them, but there's like loads of them.
Okay, so you just just keep playing, and eventually a secret will be unlocked.
Yeah, like all the achievements, for example, are all your unlocks. So, for example, one of them is just survive. So how you unlock the second level is like you survive like 10 minutes on the first level.
I was saying, because I survived the first level for like 11 or 12 minutes, and the second map wasn't. I don't know how long I survived for. It was a decent amount of time.
You want to complete the first level.
Oh, I've not completed it.
I tell you
just
this
kept playing.
now. I've been playing for 20 hours and I've only just completed the first level. But
How long does it take to complete the first level? Like, how long do you have to survive?
30 minutes. It's 30 minutes.
Fuck me, I've got nowhere near that.
It's 30 minutes on each level. But my RNG, every time I played at the first level, was messed me up every time. And we're at the 15-minute mark, you get mauled by werewolves. Like,
is the 15-minute mark the one when all of a sudden it's like a complete gang all around you?
For some reason, and it's not just me, I've read online, the first everyone finds at the 15-minute mark on the first level, Mad Forest, everyone struggles. And it's like you just have to hope that the RNG, you get the best items you can get by then. You just have to hope that you get the items you want to use to defeat what you want.
Yeah, just trying to clear my way out of like massive gang. I'm just like, oh my god, they come from everywhere, and there's no like breaks in it. Like you have to just clear a path.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my god, it was awful.
But then the library, I've completed that like over maybe 10 times, maybe more, maybe less. I don't know, around 10 times. It's so easy because they only come from two directions, and it just is a lot easier. The enemies are easier. Even when they come in a mass, it's not that bad compared to the first level. And then I've got a few other levels as well. One, you literally just fight plants. Literally, they are the enemies. But you only survive for 15 minutes. It's not for 30 minutes.
But I have been really enjoying it, and like before we recorded the podcast, I was a bit early, so I was just like, yeah, we're just gonna play a little bit of Vampire Survivors, because it's just one of those games where you don't need to sit down for hours and play it. If you've got like 20 minutes to kill, you can just smash one out.
After we finish recording today, I'm gonna do a run. I'm gonna put some Stranger Things on and do a run, because I unlocked the character who uses the axe, and so now I want to do a run with him, because if I survive, I can't remember how many minutes. I think I have to survive 20 minutes or do a whole run. Basically, if I do a whole run with him, I get it anyway. I get another achievement. I think I get the curse item, so that you can get curse while you're playing. But if you get that, you get more money. The enemies get harder, but you're gonna get more money and all that. So you're gonna get more rewards by doing it. What items did you use? Because everyone always loves the garlic.
I'll say I think my favourite is the lightning ring.
Lightning's really cool.
Or the pigeon. I call it the pigeon.
Oh, the Peachum, and then you also got Ebony Wings.
Oh, just the Peachum. It's like having a what's the name of that helicopter from like Modern Warfare 2? What's the name of that helicopter?
AC-1. You mean the AC-130?
Not the AC-130, the actual helicopter.
Just the attack helicopter.
Yeah, that's probably the best way. Yeah, so it's literally like having this little bloody pigeons, like having like a military attack helicopter above your head all the time.
Chopper gunner.
Yeah, I think there's like an actual name of like a military. It's a military chopper. It's got an actual name. I can't remember for the life of me. I keep wanting to call it a hunter, but I don't think it is. It just makes me remind me of just like, yeah, it's just freaking awesome, especially as you increase the AoE and the cooldown of it. It's freaking awesome.
Chris, you need to get the game. It's good.
It's literally £2. If I give you a Twitch Prime, Chris, download it.
I'll tell you what, I was just having a quick look at it, and the top-down sort of bullet hole shooter, it kind of reminds me of the game I mentioned on here a couple of weeks ago, that Nobody Saves the World.
Yeah,
that's sort of top-down bullet hell, like RPG.
I'm like really close to buying that Nobody Saves the World as well. I think I might.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I think I'm going to try it. I know you were really happy with it, so I think I'm going to try it.
Yeah, it took me about 20 hours to get 100% to like unlock all the forms, like all the quests. Yeah, it's pretty good. But yeah, I might have a quick look at it. But I've got enough on my plate to play at the moment.
Oh yeah,
I think we all do.
Yeah. No, like with Vampire Survivors, I've near enough unlocked most of the base characters now, and now I think the only characters I've got left. I think there might be one I've still got to unlock of the base characters, but most of them are the secret characters. And then all the items, I think I've got all the standard items, and I've upgraded them all now. And now I'm on to like the special, like the more complicated items that you have to unlock. So I've played for like over 20 hours now, so I'm unlocking a lot of harder stuff that you need to have played a lot of the game to get to unlock now. But I'm still having a blast, like even just doing a run on the library, even though I know I'm gonna beat it, I'm just like, yeah. So like I unlocked one of the newer characters that got added to the game, and instantly I did a run on the library, and I had to like survive like 20 minutes with him, and then I also had to upgrade his weapon. But unlike other characters, he started with 2 weapons, so I had to fully upgrade those 2 weapons, and it was like good for. It's really good fun, like playing like all the different characters and seeing how they play differently. Although at the end of the day, you can still generally have the same kind of build. But like I don't know if you probably have read it, but each character like gives you a different thing. So like the one with the wand will level up far faster than any other character, for example. The one I like is the one with the lightning ring, because she has a massive area of attack, and so the lightning just basically just hits anything on the screen for like all the time. And then she has like something else permanent as well. But and then there's like other ones that will have. There's like another one that'll have like an extra level when you start the game and stuff like that. So it's cool, like using the different characters and seeing how you can build each character and see how it affects your run. I'm glad
I've really been enjoying it. It's been fun.
I'm glad someone else has played it. It's so good. I've listened to so many podcasts and that I've like absolutely loved it. And literally last week, a podcast came out where one of the guys on it, spoke about Vampire Survivors, and it was just like, oh my gosh, here we go again. So, no, I'm happy you like it.
Yeah, it is fun.
But Chris, what have you been playing recently?
Well, I've been playing a bit of a smorgasbord of games, so I've got plenty to talk about. But I suppose I shall start with the most recent one, since it's only just come out, so it's a hot topic. Sniper Elite 5 came out just a couple of days ago, time recording. And amazingly, it was free on Game Pass, and so it still should be. So I was well happy with that because this was a game I was intending on probably buying anyway. It was like, fucking score. Yes, thank you.
I've never played any of the Sniper Elite games.
Okay,
Are
so
they-
a quick summary then. I played them in a very random order, kind of. I played Sniper Elite 4 first because it was free on PS
Well,
Plus.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's kind of like Metal Gear Solid 5 in a way. It's sort of like a sort of stealth sniping, but like sort of sandboxy levels. But the levels themselves are fairly large, and they're sort of broken up. There's like side objectives to do.
You're kind of selling me when you say Metal Gear Solid 5. I'm like, you had my you had my attention. Now you have my curiosity. Wait, no, that's wrong.
Yeah,
That's
it
wrong.
is very-
Whatever, but I'm more intrigued when you go. It's a little bit like Metal Gear Solid 5. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it really is. So yeah, you like go to like different like enemy base camps. Generally speaking, all the games are quite pretty. Like the graphics are pretty good on them. But you can like set up traps. You can like put down mines and lure enemies to them by whistling. You can like throw bottles to distract them. All that gubbins. You got several different weapons. Like you've always got like your main sniper rifle, but you can like swap out models. You can change them, upgrade them, like at workbenches. Normally, there's like a trade-off. So like reload speed for like being able to like do more damage or shoot from further away, that kind of thing. But yeah, there's lots of different mechanics to each one. But I played the fourth one first, and then I really enjoyed that, so I actually picked up the third one. I actually paid real money for that. And yeah, I really enjoyed that one as well. And then I went to play the second one. Second one, didn't really like that one. Second one felt more like a sort of generic war shooter, but it's like way more linear. But I didn't get very far in it. I literally could not get past like the second level. There's like one bit where you're like bottleneck with like a couple of tanks and snipers, and I just couldn't get past it. I was just that shit at it. To look at them, like you'd see like Sniper Elite, the box cover, and you'd probably just like pass it off as a sort of like Call of Duty clone or something like that. Like they don't really stand out. Like, yeah, they're nothing like. I'm really, really glad I gave them a go. I enjoyed like 4 and 3 much, much more than I anticipated. So that brings me down to Sniper Elite 5. And from what I can gather, it's more of the same, pretty much. Just like the next gen version. Now I say that I can gather because sadly I haven't gotten very far in it. Pure because I downloaded it on day one. I was all set to play it. Started the game, got past the intro bit, fine. Started like the first mission, great. Doing the tutorial bit, and it's just like, oh, more like, oh, kill this commander, get the items off it. I was like, okay, then I'll do that. Yeah, the enemies never spawned in, like at all. They just never loaded in. And I reloaded, started the mission again, same result. I'm like, right, am I being stupid dumb? And I went on the forums and like, no, quite a few people have actually issues with this game. So I want to say I like it because it looks like it's going to be more of the same. But I think I'm just going to have to wait on a patch on it. I wish I could give more of an in-depth review on Sniper Elite 5, but first impressions aren't good. But if they get it fixed, and I'm sure they will, because that's how games are now, then it will be fine. So I'm going to give it like a couple of weeks, so let's see like they're doing like a big update patch or whatever it is they need to do, and then I'll give it another fair shot. But I am glad I decided not to stream it on day one, because I would have had a fun old time. Like, I can't get like past the first 5 minutes. Yeah, but I do highly recommend Sniper Elite 4 and 3. You can get hold of them, then great.
Because
there's not much difference between the two of them.
I think from what I've vaguely heard of Sniper Elite, and that's not much, but when you're saying like the second one, it seemed a bit more like a shooter, like an old like a World War shooter.
Like a third person sort of one.
Yeah, I could see like the first two being a little bit more like that, I guess, maybe. And then maybe they were a bit like, you know what, we need to do our own thing, and that's probably why 3 and 4 might be a bit different. And they could probably, although I've never played Hitman, they might feel a little bit like Hitman to an extent, where maybe you're setting up for that shot. It's not like about killing loads of people. You're like, I want that perfect shot where you like testing the wind and all that, and then you get in that shot and you get to see it. Don't when you like take a shot, you get to see like a cinematic over the shot or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got stuff like that, like but then later on, as you progress with the game, you get like more obstacles, like you get sort of like jeeps driving around periodically, like helicopters flying over, that kind of thing. But so far, my favourite way to take down enemies, like, or take down a camp, if you pull it off, it's fantastic. Like, say there's like 4 guys in a camp, you manage to like snipe one of them while he's around. And what you can do is you can loot like everyone, and then you can also like booby trap them by sticking a grenade in the pocket.
Oh yeah.
So I love being able to like do that, put it in somewhere like semi-open.
Fallout.
Yeah, bit like Fallout. Yeah, but like put him in the open, like do a whistle, get the attention of like the other 3 guys, and it's perfect if you get all 3 of them to like go up to inspect this dead body, and then it just blows and kills all 3 of them at once. That's so satisfying. And it's also got a signature thing, the Sniper Elite games. I think it did it before Mortal Kombat did. I'm not unsure of that. But it does like the sort of X-ray effect of like your bullet piercing through them and like going into the brains for the eye socket for the heart, that kind of thing. Because it's like quite precise. Well, being a sniper game, that's what it's all about. But I think I don't know if they've trademarked it or something along those lines. Like it's got a name for it, like the sniper cinematic thing. I may be completely wrong about that, but it does like give it an identity.
I'd say it sounds believable.
Yeah, and it's quite fun. When you spent ages doing this perfect shot and you manage to line it up, and then you see like the slow-mo camera going through this Nazi brain very slowly. It's like, nice. Fuck you, Fritz. But Sniper Elite's very good. Do you want me to continue about the other games and just keep nattering?
Yeah, of course. Like, I think before we move on to a few films and TV shows, I will talk about what I did on the weekend. But yeah, carry on with your the games.
Okay. Well, I'll speed through these ones a little bit more.
Take time.
Fine. I don't have any time. Right. So the next game. No, let's speed it. So the next game I played. I don't know if you guys may have heard of this. I did message you guys, but I don't know how many other people have heard of this one. But it's one called Hellpoint.
Never played it.
I remember you saying it. I've been so busy with things, so I've not really. I wouldn't have looked into it. So.
I believe it came out last year, and it's been like patched a few times. But basically, Hellpoint is Dark Souls, but on a space station. Like third-party developer thing. So I think it's an indie game. You know, I cannot remember the name of the people who made it off the top of my head.
Cradle Games, published by Tiny Build.
Tiny Build, that's the one. Yeah. Well, anyway, so Hellpoint. Yeah, it's like Dark Souls, but on a space station. I say it's like Dark Souls because it heavily borrows from it. Like, a lot of mechanicals are identical. But it does have a few things that it does different. Some of which I like, some of which I don't. Let's go for the things I like first. So, the way you heal, you have a sort of Estus flask equivalent, like an injector. But instead of like having a set amount when you like go to like a tear, like the game's equivalent to like a bonfire. The way you restock them is by engaging in combat. Think of like the system in Bloodborne.
Yeah.
But instead of getting hit, it like charges up a gauge, and when that's completely full, you get like another restock, like another injection. So and as you progress, you can like get like the equivalent of like Estus shots, and like be able to stop more of them at any one time. If you die, you like go back to your last place with like, I believe it's 2 like heals. So you're never like completely out unless you use all your heals in a boss fight. But it's kind of encourages you to do a little bit of combat before you go into the boss arena, because you think, well, I could go in with 2 heals, or I could go around, kill a few dudes, get a bit more experience, and then sort of stock up a few heals, like get up to like 4 or 5. So yeah, that's one thing I do like. I do like that system. Another thing it does like a sort of weapon proficiency system, a bit like how the Surge did it. You've played that one?
I haven't.
No.
I know
Well,
we've spoken about it a few times, and I know of it, but
Surge 2 is amazing. Please play the Surge 2.
I know you really rate it.
I highly rate it. It's very, very good. Yeah, it's got like a sort of weapon proficiency system, but every weapon's slightly different. Because instead of like just using a weapon more and you doing more damage with it, as you'd expect, instead every weapon's got like their own sort of hidden skills, be they passive or aggressive. Right? But you don't know what they are, well, unless you're using a walkthrough, until you use the weapons yourself. So, for example, I was using like a sort of glaive, like a sort of blade thing, for most of my gameplay. And like the first thing I unlocked after like 25% of like the unlocks was I just got like a flat 12% stamina boost, so that's nice. But these are just like nice little hidden rewards you get. It's like sticking with a weapon for a bit. But thankfully, it doesn't take all that long to grind on a weapon. Like it's not like you have to have it for like 20, 30 hours to get everything. You can do it just like by doing a few circuits. But it kind of encourages you like to test things out, because you might get like 2 weapons that are slightly similar, like one a bit slower, one a bit faster. But then you might find yourself preferring the slower one just because it's got a skill set that you prefer, or just more passive buffs. So it's cool to experiment. So again, that I like about it. Now, get to the stuff I don't like about it.
Oh, here we go.
Because there's a couple. I won't harp on because you can kind of picture this yourself. Hit detection is a thing that this game doesn't really have, and in a game like Dark Souls, that's pretty important to nail. I shit you not, half the time, especially when you're using a fast weapon, I probably recommend using a slower weapon. Because normally when I've been using a fast weapon, like a dagger or a short sword, let's say I hit something 4 times with like my dagger or my sword in quick succession, only like 1 or 2 of those hits would register. Probably like the first hit and then maybe the 4th one, but not like the 2nd or 3rd. I just like completely whiff with the enemy, and they can normally like hit me at the same time. It's like, hold on, why didn't that do anything? Clearly connected. Yeah, and other times when you hit them, it would hit them, but it wouldn't like hit them straight away. It's like there's a delay by like a clear second. Like you hit them, they don't register at all. You get hit by them, only for them to sort of stagger back like half a second later. It's like, oh, what the fuck? It's a bit broken like that. And the other thing, the big killer, I mean, quite literally, because this killed me more than anything else in the entire game. It's got jumping in it with platforming.
Oh, gosh.
As I mentioned, hit detection's a thing. I died more times trying to do very simple platforming than anything else, because I would always, pretty much without fail, overshoot everything. I'd like go from a standing still to a jump and somehow overshoot a platform, even though I clearly landed on it. And it's not a case of like I just click for the platform. No, I do land on the platform, only to go through it again about half a second later. It's quite the issue. I did learn later on to like not do running jumps, just like jump from a standstill, and that seemed to be much more accurate, but still not 100%. Like very early on, there's a bit where you have to like make 3 jumps in succession to like just get like an optional goodie. But I can't leave it there. You see it, you want it. You don't matter what it is. Could be a piece of crap, and it was. But I died about 20 times trying to get this fucking thing. Yeah. So overall, I did have fun with it, but man, it needs a lot of polish. I bought it for... I didn't get this for free. I didn't get it on Game Pass or anything. I bought it for a tenner. And I'd say I got my tenner's worth out of it. Because I did enjoy it when it worked. I did have fun with it. Like, the Souls experience. But I'm glad I didn't pay full price for it. I'd have been a bit livid.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, it does have one little other thing it does. It kind of has a sort of bonfire aesthetic system from like Souls 2. So you can make the areas harder.
Okay.
But you can also do the reverse. You can use like consumable items to make it easier as well. So if you're having a hard time, you can make the game easier or harder. It is basically like a difficulty setting, but you use consumable items instead, which is an interesting idea. I kind of screwed myself a little bit on my first play because I got given the option to like make it harder early game, and I said yes, assuming I could turn it down because I didn't realise it uses items there. Early game. So I made the early game incredibly difficult for myself. On the plus side, later on in the game, I was stupidly over-leveled when I turned it back down again. It's like, oh, because I've been grinding like fuck. So yeah, Hellpoint, worth a go, but don't pay top dollar for it. If you like Souls, and can pull up with a bit of jank, and I do recommend it. Anyone else want to talk about another game before I go on one more?
Well, you've been playing one, haven't you, Brandon?
Yes, I've been playing a new one. It's one that, I mean, it's about 2.5 years old, and I've always seen adverts for it, and I've always been sort of I'd say vaguely interested in mainly like the art and design of it. And it's another little gacha game called Arknights. Now, some of you have obviously seen like Trash Taste and No Gigger, or even Sea Dog. I think it's mainly Connor, I think. But for those of you who don't know, Arknights is it's a waifu / husbando gacha game, but the actual combat of it is tower defense based. So you do the gacha, and you get the characters. You'd have to level them up, farm up their skill points, doing like different stages to collect materials for their leveling up, and then you'd use these units to basically do tower defense. And it's really, really interesting. And the story of it is, okay, when I say the story of it, I mean the PhD thesis between every stage, because that's just how much dialogue there is between any levels of Arknights. It's very, very long. It is very, very captivating, and the music is freaking incredible. Absolutely incredible soundtrack for the game. The game itself is so fun and addictive, like just playing with all your different units, and just because obviously they will talk to you as well, because every character has their own voice actors, so you get to like, sort of get on like a relationship with them, and you get to pick out your favorite waifus. And everyone at the beginning, when I was streaming it, was like, you need to get Cruz. So I got Cruz, and then everyone was just spamming Kokodayo, because all she says throughout the whole bloody time when you're using her in a mission. But yeah, honestly, Arknights is so much fun. Like, obviously we've spoken about Bloons Tower Defense before, and I'm yet to play the Bloons Tower Defense 6, but Arknights is just basically almost replaces my favorite App Store game at the moment. I'm absolutely loving it.
That's good.
Because I think they've also announced that there's going to be an anime coming out for it this year, I believe.
Okay.
I think they teased it like ages ago, saying, "Oh yeah, Arknights is going to get an anime."
Okay.
So I'll be very interested to see how that pans out, because a lot of the time, you probably know as well, Dan, but anime adaptations of games don't go very well at all.
Angels
of
Death.
Yeah, we've mentioned Angels of Death, haven't we? Like at the very beginning of the podcast days, didn't we?
Yeah. I feel like I shouldn't really talk about Angels of Death on the podcast personally, so let's just move on.
It's a load of shit. That's why. And
I did send that message to my friend, and she wasn't happy. Yeah, it was funny. I was drunk, to be fair.
Yeah, Angels of Death and Ship. I mean, there's like other games which have been turned into animes, like Azur Lane, which is a
Steins Gate
boat / ship waifu collector.
All I know of that game is I've seen loads of cosplayers play as the blue-haired girl, and that's it. Who's basically wearing nothing. Anti-collection.
I think maybe the most successful game to anime translation is Fate Grand Order.
It's Fate.
I think that's probably it's Fate. So that's probably the most successful. But the majority of the times, games to anime and anime into games does not work out very well. They're usually quick like cash grabs or just knock off gachas on like the App Store for like quick money grabs. But most of the time, obviously the most successful animated games or games to anime is going to be like the Pokemon Digimon series and the Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, because they've marketed it perfectly. They've got a massive following. Even now, so the player base increases by the day. But other games, they don't work out. So I'm really interested to see how Arknights plan is out. I hope if they can get the voice actors of the actual characters they've got for the games, I think I'll definitely give it a watch. And I'd like to hope they play truthful to the story of the actual game itself, because it is so interesting. And at this moment in time, so I think I'm on episode 3 of the game, and there's been an absolute plot twist between one of the characters you've found and one of the villains. Because one of the villains is like, I need to protect you, and I'm just like, why are you protecting him? Like, why are you so protective over this guy? Like, or this girl? What? Like, why? It's like, I finally found you. I'm like, who are you? Are you the mother? Are you the brother? Who are you? And I'm really trying to figure this out. But yeah, it's really kept me engrossed. As long as you can get past, as I said, the PhD thesis, master's dissertation, whatever, of text between combat, you will love it. But unfortunately, there is a skip button if it doesn't interest you.
Okay.
But it's just a shame that the actual bits in between, they're not voice acted. Only like when you pull the characters or when they're actually in the games themselves are they voiced.
Oh, that's a shame.
Also, in the game as well, that like Fallout Shelter, that little
Yeah.
home decoration, but there's
Yeah.
a section of that's in the game as well, which is quite fun.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if anyone's looking for like another mobile game to play, like free to play or whatever, and you want like to collect all your waifus, husbandos, or whatever, give Arknights a go. I'm absolutely loving it.
I don't know. I've not really played any anime mobile games, so I don't know. I might check it out, but I don't know. But you have another game, don't you, Chris? Or was it another 2 or 3? I don't know.
How many games have you freaking played?
Fair few. No, I only want to really talk about one more today. This one I finished, and again, it's quite new, very new actually. It's only come out, well, not as new as Sniper Elite. It only came out a couple of weeks ago. It came out just after we recorded our last episode. I think I've lost track of time. Anyway, this game is Salt and Sacrifice, which is the long-awaited sequel to Salt and Sanctuary.
Yes, I know of Salt and Sanctuary.
Okay, have you played Salt and Sanctuary, Brandon?
No, I haven't. Well, I don't think so.
Do you know of it?
I think I might know of it.
It's
a quick Google.
It's a Souls-like.
Yes, it's a Souls-like, but it's 2D.
Yes, 2D Souls-like.
I have played this Salt and Sanctuary many
I've seen it, but not played it.
I've played it many times. It's one of those fun games, like you can put like challenges to it, like try and speedrun it. So much so, like the game even has like built-in challenges, like you can like just tick a box to say like all like. Basically, like Iron Man mode. So if you die, you die. That's it. Right?
If you daze, you daze.
Yeah. There's like a pot only run, which I've done live on stream. That was interesting. Turns out it's not actually that bad in the end because the pot ends up being a half decent blunt weapon by the end game. So, amazingly, if you know what to like upgrades to put on it and like what sort of upgrade items to like use on yourself, like what sort of charms and trinkets to equip. It's not that bad. Well, there's a couple of bits where I wanted to tear my hair out. But honestly, it wasn't that bad. But anyway, yeah, Salt and Sanctuary, 2D Souls-like, came out in 2016, the same year as Dark Souls 3. So as far as like Souls imitators go, it was one of the first ones. But it like because it like the sort of 2D effect, it like made it its own. So it has quite a strong identity. It's got quite a solid art style. There's no mistaking it for anything else. You look at that and go, yeah, that's Salt and Sanctuary. But anyway, so Salt and Sacrifice, the new one, it's quite different. I mean, ultimately, gameplay-wise, it is similar. It's still a 2D Souls-like. Like, mechanics are basically the same. The health works the same. Stamina and magic are pretty much the same. How it differs, though, is it basically takes a sort of Monster Hunter approach, which is like what every review of it has said, but it's true. So how it's broken down, though, instead of like Salt and Sanctuary having like a big open world like Dark Souls does, that sort of gradually opens up as you beat bosses, unlock keys, unlock doors, blah, 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 blah. Instead, you sort of like have a little hub, and you teleport out to different worlds. Think like Demon Souls, kind of like that. But then you like travel to the different worlds, and the worlds themselves are kind of like, I would say, bite-sized areas. They're fairly large, but you realise like once you've started to clear an area, they're not all that big. And I did notice like after I did like all the areas, they sort of have a very similar level design. Like they all seem to share a sort of, I don't know, sort of donut shape, I guess, where you sort of like go left and right, and there's like a higher bit on like both sides and then a lower bit, but you kind of end up looping in a sense. But in order to progress in this, you've got a couple of like your regular bosses as you would expect. Souls like, but where it differs is like where I was having the Monster Hunter angle. So in the game there are these enemies called mages that you have to kill. I think some of them are optional, like some of the later ones, but like the first sort of mages you get in every area you have to kill to proceed, because there's essentially like fog gates in every area, so you have to like hunt down and kill these mages. By doing that, they sort of teleport, so you'll bump into them like just out in the wild, and then they sort of teleport around. You engage with them several times, and then eventually they go to like a set point you chase them down to, and then it acts more like a sort of traditional boss fight. And by killing them and the underlings that they can summon all the time, you get materials, which you use for like upgrading. And for every like mage you kill, they unlock like another armor set and another load of weapons and like, trinkets that you can go and craft. So yeah, kind of like Monster Hunter. And that's basically the core gameplay. Like you go out to a world, you kill a few mages, and they're repeatable as well. There's like 3 different types of like you'll just find them like randomly in the world. Once you've defeated them, they'll just like start appearing, which I found to be quite annoying. Because when I'm like trying to do like one mission, like just trying to get from like A to B, and then there's one of these mages that just appear in my way, it's like that's kind of annoying. Especially if they're placed in such a way like in like tricky platforming sections, and you're thinking, well, how the fuck am I going to get past this? There's a fucking mage in the way, and they can keep summoning new enemies. So unless you like engage with them to try and clear them out of the way, they're just going to stay there. So I found that kind of annoying. And also because this is like a core gameplay thing that you do, it did start to get a bit repetitive near the end. It was fine at first, but a lot of the mages, because they're all sort of like humanoid, did kind of get samey. And there's also quite the difficulty spike as well. It feels like they've taken a pages out of Elden Ring's book that says, for fuck's sake, level up health. things just like tend to one-shot you. Right. And I play Salt and Sanctuary the same as I would do like Dark Souls Elden Ring, like light load, because that affects like how your movement speed, not just your dodge rolling, but your movement speed as well, which is very important when you're trying to do platform. So heavy build is not for me. So, but with that you also get like increased knockback as well, like Castlevania. So if anything hits you, you go fucking flying, which again is a pain when you're trying to do difficult platforming and you end up falling about 300 feet. But that was an issue in the first game as well. But I would say it's an issue. It's like it's a feature. Okay. But yeah, I did like the game even after finishing it, but I can't say I'm in any rush to replay it. Because having to refight the mages over and over again, they got quite samey. And as I say, the level design on each area is very similar as well after you've cleared through them. So I kind of know what to expect. So I probably can see myself replaying it, but not for a while. Whereas Salt and Sanctuary, I get the need to like pick it up. Like somebody just have to say, "Oh, why not try doing it whips only?" I'm like, "Let's go, let's do this." Yeah. But because of how this one is structured with like mages and that, I'm in no rush to try and do that yet. But yeah, I do still recommend it though. It is a good game. If you like the first one, you'll like this one as well. Probably just not as much. But hey, if you like Monster Hunter, maybe you'll like it more. Who knows?
I remember watching like stuff of the first one and it looked really cool. So I don't know. I still feel like I should check out the first one at some point.
Please do. It's really, really solid. I very much enjoy it. As I say, I've lost count the number of times I've played it. Because just like Dark Souls, it's like there's so many weapons and armor sets and spells you can use. It's like damn. And it's not. I suppose ultimately it ends up being linear, like Souls does, but it is a bit more open to like start with. Like you have multiple routes you can take, and there's like secret rooms and that. So yeah, give it a shot, mate. I recommend that to everyone.
Well, see, have we got any other games that we want to talk about? Or is that
I've not played anything
about it? Because I have something I'd like to mention before we, I guess, move on. So, this past weekend, I was on a stag do. And my mate, who was the stag, he requested to the best men that he wanted to go to a bar called Pixel Bar. So the stag do was in Manchester, and so on the first day, first night, went to this bar, Pixel Bar, and it was really cool. Walked in and it had a whole load of all these little booths where you could eat. We booked out a booth for 2 hours. And we had a Nintendo Switch, and so we played like Mario Kart, Smash Bros, Mario Party, Monkey Ball, played a whole load of different things. It was really good fun. And you also got like loads of different gaming themed cocktails as well. So I had to get it. I got the Dark Souls cocktail called Estus Flask, and they came in like these little it looked like the like kind of potions from Legend of Zelda. They came in them. It was really nice, the drink. And I also got a Pokemon. There were a couple of Pokemon cocktails. So I got the Pokemon cocktails, and when they came, you got a Pokemon card with them. So that was really cool. And like all the booths you had as well, there were most of them were Switches, but you had like you could go on a PS5, the Xbox. There was like N64s, GameCubes. Like there was a lot of different consoles, and had like neon gaming lights all around, like kind of like the big neon sign kind of things. You know what I mean? Had like gaming ones of them. So when you walked into Pixel Bar, it had the Harley and Shield, and then Pikachu, and then around the room, around the bar, they had a whole load. It was a really fun place to go, and we all really enjoyed it. But the next day we went to another one. This one was called NQ64. Now this one was very different, where this was more like an arcade. So you went in, and it was like all underground, so it felt like a proper arcade kind of thing. And so you walked down into the bar, and then all around there were loads of arcade machines, and so you had stuff like Battletoads. No, not Battletoads. You had Turtles in Time. You had Street Fighter. You had Tekken. You had Mortal Kombat. You had pinball machines. You had Pac-Man, Tetris, Track and Field, Crazy Taxi, Guitar Hero, DDR, like Terminator games. There was like there was like loads of racing games as well. It was just ridiculous. Like they had all these arcade machines, and then they also had a whole line of consoles as well, where you could select multiple games. They clearly like got like whatever cartridge was in was like clearly been either hacked or whatever, or so that you could play loads of games. So you could go on like the N64 and flip from like GoldenEye to Mario Kart to Smash Bros or to F-Zero. Even Super Mario 64 was on it, and then you could go to the bar, and this place had video game themed cocktails as well, but I didn't actually get any of them. I just had a Guinness. But you could buy tokens for these arcade machines. So you got, I think it was £7 for 15 tokens, and it was just really good fun going around and playing all these arcade machines and all that, and I think we were there for like a few hours, just having a lot of fun. On 2 arcade machines, I got the high score. I can't remember what the other one was, but I went on the Mario Bros and I got the high score, and I tripled. Whoever was second, I tripled their score. It was a really good time going into both of these gaming bars, and I definitely recommend if you're ever in Manchester to check them out. The NQ64, there is one in Birmingham. So the way I found out about NQ64 was a load of my friends the weekend before, they were all in Birmingham, and on a night out they went to this place, and I was like, oh, there's one in Birmingham, one in Manchester, so we all went to that on the stag do. But there were like 2 different experiences I had, and they were both really good.
So is this like an area where you think you'd have to experience it at night rather than just during the day?
I don't really think it. I think like at night it'd be pretty cool, but I don't think it matters. Like when we went into NQ64, it wasn't that busy, and it was quite fun that it wasn't massively busy. So we could go on. We got could easily go on all the arcade machines. When we were like nearly done, a whole load of people came in, and it was a bit like, oh, I don't know, like now it's getting too busy, but it was really good fun, like regardless. And like I definitely recommend like going to both of these bars in Manchester.
Yeah, I'd definitely be happy to like try something like that. I just do like a day out.
So you went to a stag do, and
Yeah.
I've been to a wedding. There were no arcade machines at this wedding, so yeah, the end.
Oh, that's a shame.
But did you have fun at the wedding? That is the question, Chris.
I did have fun, albeit I had to come back early because I was on doggy duty. I had to come back and look after Rossi because he'd been left on his own for like 10 hours.
Yes.
I was knackered by then anyway.
That,
Everyone else was getting drunk, and I'm like sitting there sober.
Yeah, that was my gaming experience on the weekend while I was in Manchester on a stag do. But it was really good fun. I said prior to us recording, and I want to go to either one of them or both of them with you guys. It'd be good fun. I want to go to them with like a good again. I think it was really good fun with a big crowd of us. But
I'll be completely down for that.
yeah. But shall we move on to something else? I guess.
TV stuff.
Shall we talk about Jackass 4.5?
Jackass 4.5.
Have we all three of us seen that?
No, but
Oh,
we did see 4 at the cinema.
Yeah,
and I didn't.
Who's not heard that episode? That me and Dan. So yeah, I enjoyed it. But what is different in the 0.5? What makes it 0.5?
I think, well, from all the other 0.5 Jackass films, this felt more like an interview version of the film. It unlike all the other ones where it just felt like all the extra stuff they didn't put in the film, and it was just like it was essentially another film, but they still had like alternative takes on what they put in the film. This really did feel like more like an interview, an interview version of 4, because they had one of the things they added into it was, although they did confirm that a lot of it they had all the test footage for Forever, and most of the test footage did get into the final film anyway, but it had some of the extra test footage that didn't get into the film. It was really cool actually, because they started before COVID, and it was like, oh yeah, Johnny, when we started it and everything was like good, and Johnny Knoxville didn't have grey hair, and then it was like, then we came back, then Johnny Knoxville had grey hair. It's like, oh, so that you can see the distinct sections of when you rewatch. If you rewatch Forever, you can be like, when Johnny Knoxville doesn't have grey hair, that's all the test footage, near enough. And then when he has grey hair, that's when they come back from COVID.
Did Johnny Knoxville actually in any interviews or anything say why he went grey so fast?
No, not in the film.
Obviously not in the film, but I mean like in general, like outside of the film.
No idea. That I have no knowledge.
I mean, obviously, I've not seen Jackass 4. I've only relied on everything I've seen from Jackass 4.5. And the one stunt in which I got a taster of in Jackass 4.5 was a wee man getting bitten by a tarantula. I was just like, what the fuck? Literally, what the fuck?
I still maintain that when I seen it, the funniest bit was like when they were in the dark. Just fucking with them.
There was a little bit of that. It was like an interview of how they did that.
Into it, but,
So would you say like the interviews they've added? Would you say it like kills the pace of the film or makes it better? Or?
I think it's just a different experience. It didn't kill it or anything. It was just it was good. But it wasn't. It was a different. It was a completely different experience. Okay. I think it did add to it, but like if that was what we got it for 4.5 for a 0.5 film, Jackass 0.5 film, it was perfect. But you wouldn't have wanted that if you went to the cinema to see it. If that was what Forever was, I would have been like, really? That's not what I would have come to see Jackass for. I come to see Jackass to see all these stunts and see them act like the lunatics and Forever was that. But Point 5 was great to have like a bit of backstory behind some, especially the new cast members. It did go into them a lot and explained
Buddy.
who they were a lot more.
Yeah, because we had like no idea who these new guys were.
Yeah,
At least I didn't.
No, it really explained exactly who they were, and that was really cool.
Sorry, when I said buddy, I meant Poopy.
Poopy is great.
I'll tell you what, I did like seeing Machine Gun Kelly getting hit in the face. I think that was great.
I know you do. It is just me being...
Not just in Jackass, just in general. I think a lot of people. To be honest, I'm glad that Jackass Forever wasn't any longer. So I'm glad I didn't see the 0.5 version in the cinema, because I remember I was busting for a piss by the end. I'm glad it wasn't any longer.
I think you should check out Point 5.
It's on the list.
Yeah, it'll just be like, it's literally just more of what you want. And the as I said, the interviews do add to it, and it's nice to have that.
Yeah. Sometimes when they release like a sort of director's cut or an extended edition, I think to myself, hang on, I paid to see this at the cinema and I didn't even get to see the whole film. Good talk.
I mean, it's kind of genius that they've managed to squeeze out technically a second film from what they record.
But they've done it for every film.
They managed to squeeze out more people.
Yeah, the fact that they've kept it up and like continue for revenue generation is really clever.
Technically, they've released 8 films because of it.
Yeah, well, it's like Scholar of the First Sin edition.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. There was one. I can't remember which stunt it was, but there was one that I was just howling with laughter in Point 5.
In 4.5?
Yeah.
So I think for me, the one I laughed at was probably Look After Granddad. And that whatever you do, don't let him smoke.
I think it might have been that one. That was fucking hilarious.
Because it's just when I knew he was, for some reason, I thought it felt very predictable. But in a way, even though it was predictable, the fact that he appeared on top of the bus stop, I was just like, for goodness sake.
It was just she went away for like not even that long, and he's just there in his mobility scooter, just on top of the bus shelter, just like, and she's like, how the hell did you get up there? He's like, it's just like no way. Like, if that was like a normal thing, would he have just got there on his own? Clearly something else was going on, but that was so funny. He just fell off, and I've
got to go on record and say that my favourite Jackass film is actually Bad Grandpa.
I've still not seen it.
You still not seen Bad Grandpa?
No.
Oh, it's so good. Please watch it. It's kind of like Jackass, but it has like a sort of more of a plot. Oh man, I've got to name it, because I have never seen my mum laugh so hard watching a film. There's a bit where he shoots up a wall.
Oh, that's my favourite part.
I've never seen my mum laugh so hard.
That is literally my favourite part of that film.
She was nearly choking. But, yeah, it's Bad Grandpa. That's really good. I want to watch it again now. I'm gonna watch that. Finish it again. I bloody love that.
Weren't they ever going to say they were going to release a second one?
I don't know.
I just felt like, because I do like a Jackass, but it's just like stunt after stunt after stunt. But like Bad Grandpa actually like has a plot and a script, and so it's just got a bit more structure to it. But all the stunts like in the film are fucking funny. So
there's the other one where it's that theme park.
There is. Have you seen that one?
No, because they do mention that film in 4.5.
Do they? Okay, yeah. Because oddly enough, I found out about this film shortly after we watched the 1 and 4 one in the cinema on a YouTube channel. I think it was Hats Off Entertainment YouTube channel. Highlighted this film. Oh, what's the name of it? Is it Cedar Falls or Rapid Falls or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's based on a true story about the theme park that was incredibly dangerous. But people found it fun because there was basically no real staff. There was no first aid training. Every ride was pretty much a death trap. But it was incredibly popular for that reason as well. So it is based on a true story. Having found out about that, I did watch it, but this is like 6 months ago now, getting on. So I can barely remember it. It was okay, but nothing really stand out. It's pretty standard. So it's just Johnny Knoxville and Chris Pontius in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fine. If you got an hour and a half to kill, you can do worse. That's all I can really say about it. It's fine. It's got a few stunts in it, like got you expect from Jackass, but nothing like really over the top. But I think some of the stunts they did are like kind of like recreations of real accidents that did happen. But I think the jury's out on that, of like how much of that is actually true and how much of it is just made up. So, yeah, it's all right.
No idea. Do you want to talk about Obi Wan now, or do you want to talk about Rescue Rangers?
Do I want to talk about Rescue? What a stupid question.
Right, I want to talk about Rescue Rangers, and then we'll go into Obi Wan.
Just in general, I'm always want to talk about Rescue Rangers. Alright. Yeah. So I watched Rescue Rangers, as you may have gathered, on Disney Plus. I went into it with like no knowledge of it whatsoever. Obviously, I'm old, so I used to watch Rescue Rangers, the cartoon, when I was a kid. But I'd be lying if I said I really remembered anything about it, apart from the characters. Which I suppose I've got to say everyone who watched it remembers Gadget, because I think Gadget was a gateway for many, many furries. especially around people around my age. It's like the first thing is when you've seen it, it's like, I seem to be mildly attracted to that. I should probably keep an eye on that. Anyway, tangents aside. Rescue Rangers, it's Andy Samberg and a few voice actors that you may recognise, like Trey McNeil and a lot of other people whose names have instantly escaped my brain.
I know the guy who, because the main two leads, I should say, it's Andy Samberg, and the other guy, I can't remember his name, but he plays Spider-Ham in Spider-Verse.
There we are then. Yes, so I watched this film with like little to no expectation. All I'd seen was a couple of still shots, and I was confused as to why there was like claymation in the screenshots, and why Dale was 3D and shit was 2D.
Yeah.
But after watching the film, it is nothing like the original show, like at all. It's basically more like Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Anything else? And I've got to tell you, there's quite a few times I laughed my arse off, and I wasn't expecting to. I thought this is going to be like a real like kids kind of thing, and it is. But there's a lot more sort of grown-up humor and like meta humor that I know is going to go over most of kids' heads that they're just not going to get. I think only a lot of people like our age and above are going to understand a lot of references in it. There's so many Easter eggs in it, like they are absolutely everywhere. It's like nearly every scene is like the collector's scene from Guardians of the Galaxy. There's just stuff everywhere. Not just the jokes they're actually making, like the visual ones right in front of you, but in the background. There's so many. But I laughed out hard a fair few times, especially during the sort of mid-credits roll. I laughed so hard. Like, my folks came in my room because they thought I hurt myself. He's like, "What's that noise?" He's like, "Nothing. I'm just fucking laughing my ass off." He just like caught me off guard, and it's like involuntarily making like weird noises instead of laughing. It was one of those. So I suppose just on that alone, I have to give it a recommendation. Leave all your expectations at the door and just give it a watch, because it's kind of nuts. And it goes all over the place.
Do you want to talk about him?
Do I want to talk about him?
Yeah, you know who?
Do I?
Ugly Sonic.
Oh, Ugly Sonic. Oh, no, I thought you were referring to someone else. Yeah, Ugly Sonic's in the film.
Yeah.
When I put in our like group messenger, I was gonna watch Rescue Rangers. Dan simply replied Ugly Sonic, and at the time I was very confused. I had no idea what the fuck it was on about. He's like, what Ugly Sonic? What are you on about? I'm going to watch Rescue Me.
I didn't actually realise that.
The fuck? He's like, why have you just randomly texted Ugly Sonic? But no, Ugly Sonic is in the film. Because one of the earlier plot points is... Actually, no, I don't want to say it because I don't want to ruin it. Because I think the less I say about it, the more blind people go in, the more they will enjoy it. I don't know. You've seen it as well, yeah? So what do you think?
Oh, I've not seen it.
Have you not seen it?
No.
I took it as when you've seen it.
No, I've not seen it. It's just I know about Ugly Sonic, and I had to see. I watched a few of the clips regarding him, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is real."
Yeah.
What's more, it's on Netflix, not Netflix, on Disney Plus. I'm like, what? But yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple of things that happen that make me question who owns the rights to this. And as I say, it's just full of so many Easter eggs. And the closest I can put it to is like Roger Rabbit. I had scenes like Daffy Duck and like Donald Duck on sharing screen time, and the only way they could get them to do that is they share exactly the same amount of screen time, down to the frame, like that. That's the only compromise I could get Warner Brothers and Disney to be on the same time, on the same film. The only compromise I could get. But yeah, Chip and Dale. I'd say I don't want to talk any more about it. I kind of do, but I don't, because I think if I don't say any more, you'll enjoy it more. Because I only watched it assuming it would be like the show that I used to watch. They just made it into a whole film. No, no, it really isn't. But yeah, I do recommend it. It is funny.
Well, I know. Brandon, you've been rewatching Stranger Things. Ready for season 4.
Yeah, because season 4 of Stranger Things recently came out. So I've only ever seen season 1 and 2. I completely missed season 3 because I think somewhere else came out and I just completely fell to the back of my radar. So I've just been, wanting to get back into Stranger Things because I've really, really enjoyed it when I did watch it. So yeah, so I rewatched all of season 1 yesterday. Pretty much just all of it yesterday.
Well, I was driving home. How was it rewatching it?
Rewatching it, I just noticed things production-wise which just doesn't add up. Like watching it the first time, I was like, wow, this is amazing. But then rewatching it, I'm just picking on like subtle nuances. I'm just like, no, like they just like, for example, the tear in the Department of Energy. Like you could just tell that was just a green screen because of the way that you could see the green screen fold around the fingertips. Just some of the editing was a bit like you'd have one person facing one way, then all of a sudden the next cut they're facing a different way, but then they're back facing the right way. So just little nuances like that, which I'm just picking up all of a sudden.
I think one of the things I always find with season 1, and I remember when it came out, and I think a lot of fans just didn't really say much about it. Was I think it was the fact that they didn't care, and that was I think that's a problem with, one, the show. It didn't make you care enough, but 2, how the show handled that matter didn't help either. And it's Nancy's friend.
Oh yeah.
When she goes missing, when she gets killed.
Yeah, you found Barbara. We know she's dead, but then she's that's it.
Yeah, but she goes missing, and then obviously she dies, but she goes missing, and it's all it's all about, is it Simon?
Will,
not Simon. It's all about Will, not Barbara. It's all I know Will's one of the main characters, but it's like they put Will on a far higher pedestal, as if, well, who cares about Barbara? He's way more important, but it's like, well, they're both missing. Like, surely, and I think it's the fact that Nancy cared more for Will than her friend, and I was a bit like, well, that feels really out of fucking character. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's not that deep, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just about these nuances and behavioural things you pick up. It's just like,
and so like, I know you haven't rewatched season 2, but when like season 2 and they near enough from the first episode, they kind of were dealing with Barbara again of like, oh, the aftermath of her death. I was a bit like, I kind of wanted this in season 1. I'm glad they've done it, but this realistically, this should have been in season 1, not in season 2.
Absolutely.
I still like all the seasons. I've just started season 4, but I've not even watched the first episode yet, so I'm like halfway through it. But
I mean, obviously it's very atmospheric. I do like the Silent Hill-esque atmosphere on it. I really, really enjoy that. The actual story itself, I do like the story because it feels like, it's got all the moments of a good story. You've got the overall cause, and you've got the two separate stories, like Hopper trying to piece together all the information. I love that bit of him just going through, questioning everything, and actually steadily coming to a conclusion. I've really, really enjoyed that. But it's just, it's like I said, overall, I really, really enjoy it. It's just rewatching it. It's like when you when you replay a game or rewatch anything, you start, what happens, but you just pick up on just things which either weren't done completely right or they could have done a little bit better.
Yeah, I think it's the same with anything, really. Amount of times, you'll, I don't know, play whatever or watch whatever, and you'll just see something new. Maybe that's for the better, maybe it's not. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to hope it's for the better. It's like the amount of times I've watched, let's say, Guardians of the Galaxy, and each time I've picked out a new joke that I didn't hear the time before.
Oh yeah, I love it when that happens.
Like tangent. Have you lads played like the Stranger Things 3 game? Like the sort of isometric RPG?
No, I know of it, but no.
Yeah, that's a game I played for free on Game Pass a little while back. It's decent. It'll kill an afternoon. Quite worse things. I enjoyed my time with it. All it is like a condensed version of like the events of Series 3 throughout the game, and you unlock more characters as you go along. It's got like a basic crafting system, like a monetary system, that kind of thing. It's fine. I recommend it if you've got nothing better to do.
Well, I guess, shall we just talk about Obi Wan brief now, and then that'll probably wrap us up.
Impression? Yeah, quick first impression of Obi Wan.
It's only 2 episodes as of this recording. Because I got back from the stag do, and then I was trying to sort a few things out, and I was like, you know what? I feel like out of anything I've got to catch up on, I should catch up on Obi Wan first, for a couple of reasons. One, I know someone at work, if he sees me, he's instantly going to go, do you watch Obi Wan? I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. He wasn't even in today, so it didn't. He didn't even. He's probably in tomorrow, and I'll be like, oh, here we go. But
the amount of times I've had to watch a show because some bastard at work will ruin this. I need to watch this now.
he's spoiled stuff for me before when I said, oh, I've not seen it, and he's gone and spoiled it. I'm like, really? Like, I think ever since I had an experience many, many years ago with spoiling, I've become a lot more reserved on that. So I like to think I have. But no, I really enjoyed both episodes. I put in our chat that I think they are 2 of the strongest opening episodes I've seen in a while. I absolutely loved them so much. It's funny, I listened to another podcast today that were like, oh, it was just a bit like they were a bit on it, and I was like, how? But that's just the way people are in opinions, and that's what makes things interesting. But I absolutely loved those first two Obi Wan episodes so much. I think one of the criticisms on that other podcast was like with the first episode where it felt like it kind of had the same scene like three times. You know what I mean. But I think I liked that, how it felt like it built on where Obi-Wan was or is when you meet him in the series. And I like that first day where we have like a day in the life of Obi-Wan. It just hits so well. To me, it hit like near every beat so well, and humanized Obi-Wan so well of where he is right now, and I loved it so much.
Tell you what, though, even though I'm like fully well aware it was going to be set on Tatooine,
Yeah, I know.
I can't help but think like, fucking hell, they're getting the money's worth out of this set, isn't they? It's in Mandalorian, it's in Boba Fett. It's like, have they run out of other planets? Have they? It's like they built this one set. It costs a lot of money. Fuck it, we're using it.
I'd like to think this might be the last time. Well, maybe not, but like, probably I can feel like this is going to be one of the last times.
Yeah.
I say that they've got Mando season 3 and they've just announced season 4, so we'll see what happens. But this feels
you do wonder, like, why does anyone run a business or a bar? It's like, shouldn't this place be abandoned by now? How many times has this market street been blown up by something? We've had speed chasing down it. It's extremely unsafe. Just leave it, wouldn't you? It's like every year they have to rebuild it.
Like,
there's this one little bit in, like, it just popped in my head. There's one little bit in South Park in the first season where it's like a news reporter. He's like joining the Mecha Godzilla one, Mecha Streisand, and he's like, "Oh, after ravenous turkeys and these zombies coming down, this Mecha Streisand goes, God damn it, not again."
No, it was so good to see Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan again.
Yeah.
It just.
Do you think it would have worked if like they recast like Obi-Wan?
No. It just
I did wonder when I first seen Obi-Wan, it's like, is it still going to be Ewan McGregor? Because it's been like 20 years now. So...
As soon as he started speaking, I was like, our Obi-Wan is back. He's here. Like, he is playing a different Obi-Wan, but I like that. I like how that they're exploring something different with him. I like such an important character in cinema history. Really, it is nice to see a different take on him that I've never seen, or maybe I've yet to experience. I've not watched all like the Clone Wars stuff, and like, so I've not all Rebels. And
no, I haven't.
It's something I want to do. So I've not seen like that side of his character, but it was I really enjoyed both episodes, and it's Fridays, isn't it? That it come out.
Yeah, I was all sat down to watch it with the folks on Wednesday, and then realised it wasn't on, and it confused me because I thought, hold on, but Mandalorian was out on Wednesdays, like all the Marvel stuff's out on Wednesdays, Boba Fett was out on Wednesdays. Why is this Friday?
I can't
we just assumed it was on.
It did get moved back for a reason. I can't remember. Although you say that WandaVision came out on a Friday.
Did it? Yeah. Everything else was Wednesday, though.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But,
I don't. You just confused the fuck out of us.
Yeah.
We're like, all sat down to watch it. It's like, oh.
Not gonna lie, I really like that Jawa Tika. I don't know why. It was just the whole conversation. I was just like, I don't know why I really like Tika. Just, I don't know. Tika just felt like really mischievous. I know it's Jawa, but I don't know.
A little Jawa, yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Like Tika.
If you're gonna have the courtesy to steal my stuff and try and resell it back to me, you may as well be cooking it.
He's like, you may as well clean it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was concerned when they I won't spoil it, when they introduced a certain key character, whether they would get on my nerves. But thankfully that didn't happen. At least it hasn't happened yet.
I'm wondering
I
which
hope it
character
remains
you
that way.
mean, but yeah.
You could probably guess. They're quite important to the franchise.
Is it a female one?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, okay. I know exactly who you mean.
Yeah.
When you said it, I was like, yeah.
As soon as they started having screen time, I was like, don't you dare. Don't you dare having a very annoying character.
But the you know, like the very first scene with the Inquisitors, I really like that scene. Aren't some of them in Jedi Fallen Order?
They do mention the sisters, but I don't know. They're not characters that are in. At least one of them isn't.
Hasn't the Grand Inquisitor appeared before, though?
Probably extended universe. So there's so much Star Wars media out there.
I feel like he has appeared.
I know the end boss in Fallen Order is known as the second sister. That's like the main antagonist. But that's established right at the beginning of the game. So, but yeah, it just sort of introduced that sort of I'd say faction, I guess, to the mainstream. If I hadn't have played Fallen Order, I wouldn't know who like the sisters are. But,
I think after watching those 2 episodes, I was like, I might buy Fallen Order now.
Have you not played it yet?
No. And well, they've just announced the sequel as well, so...
have they? I haven't seen that.
Yeah, what's it? Jedi... it's Jedi something. No, not... No, Fallen something. Jedi Fallen something, I can't remember.
Jedi still falling. Still falling. I have been falling for 12 hours. No. Well, you've got a very busy week then ahead of you then, because you got to play Fallen Order. You got to play Salt and Sanctuary. You got to watch Bad Grandpa. You best get to it.
I ain't doing that when I'm going to Belgium on Friday.
Wait, if you're very quick and stay up all night instead of sleeping.
But no, right now for me, Obi Wan is one of the best Disney Plus series right now, but that's just 2 episodes. That's so premature.
It's Star Wars. They got plenty of time to disappoint us.
Like, I think right now with the Star Wars ones, which is only 3 seasons, Mando's been great. Boba Fett was hit and miss. Like, at parts it was really good. Other ones I felt and I know everyone loved like the fact that it felt like, oh, it's Mandalorian 2.5. I liked it, but also didn't like it for different reasons. Oh, we spoke about this before anyway. But no, everyone, absolutely great. Brandon, watch it.
Honestly, if I was going to start to watch like some of the other Star Wars stuff, it's going to sound really bad, but I want to rewatch the 6 films. To reset myself into the Star Wars mindset.
That's fine.
Yeah, but that's going to take so long to do.
Well, you never know. You can have a movie night with the boys. There you go.
Movie week.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm going to Great Yarmouth this weekend. And there'll be plenty of time for me to get there. But what I think I might do is if I download all of Season 2 Strange, I was so torn between 3 things to watch for the journey to Great Yarmouth. I was either going to download all the Pirates of the Caribbean in solidarity. I was going to either get Season 2 Stranger Things and watch that, or I was going to, or now after you guys mentioned it, maybe even the Star Wars ones, or even anime. I don't know. There's so much I could possibly watch nowadays. The power of offline streaming is so good.
I know. Yeah.
I don't know how we coped without it. LimeWire, that's how we did it.
All right, Virus.
One last little topic between the 3 of us as a closer. So we've just had our 1-year anniversary. which is fantastic. Well done, lads. We did it. But also today at time of recording, our sister podcast over in America, Retro Smash podcast, name dropped us 3 times, which I think is quite nice.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes, cheers, lads. Cheers, Weldy. Cheers, Eric. Yeah, go give them a listen. I'm sure Dan will leave a link in this episode's description. Yeah, because he's a good egg like
that. They are very good podcasts. I'm slowly catching up with all their episodes.
Yeah,
and they are very good.
I think they want us to collaborate with them.
I'd be down for that. I listened to quite a few gaming podcasts, and there's a few that I felt quite strong out the bat, and theirs definitely felt strong from the get-go. Not just because it was good. The other thing is it sounded good. Like I've listened to a few that just like, I mean, when I say it sounded good, it was more like the recording. On record, I think all 3 of us know our first 2 episodes weren't the best sounding wise, and I think ever since episode 3, it's been more consistent. Our first 2, we were still trying to work everything out, but from episode 3, and hopefully from going forward, Chris will have his new mic set up properly, so even his voice will...
I've had it a week and I still haven't worked it out yet.
Oh, you'll get there.
I'm sure I will.
But Retro Smashed are great.
But getting back to my point, so I'm going to blatantly steal from their new anniversary episode, because they took theirs in a different direction. They spoke like what they've learned over the last year. They sort of did a retrospective on themselves, kind of, whereas we did games of the year. But as a quick closer, lads, what do you think we've learned over the last year when it comes to this show?
I think the thing that I've probably learned the most is just sometimes just how fucking monkey brained the 3 of us can be with some medias.
I think
like Chris, you're very monkey brain with some stuff. I'm monkey brain with stuff. Dan's 5-head monkey brain. He's still got monkey brain, but a bit more smarter about it. I'd say hand on heart though, probably the thing which I've learned the most from this podcast is, obviously, Chris, we met that one time at Dan's party.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously I haven't really known you, and I'd like to say that because of the podcast, I'd say we've blossomed a friendship. So I think that's one thing I'm thankful for from the podcast, is that I actually have a new friend because of it.
No.
Yeah, you've learned that you don't hate me as much as you thought.
I've learned I have I've learned I had a fellow monkey brain friend.
These guys know, but I'm gonna put it on record, when we recorded our first episode, when we recorded most of our early episodes, I was in a very bad place mentally, especially the week we recorded our first episode. I was very down, and just talking to these guys has really, really helped me over that period. And even now, I still have those, that where I was mentally, I still have that still am dealing with a lot, because what I went through last year was a lot, and part of that is my fault, part of that isn't my fault, and it's just still a lot to take and a lot to deal with. And the podcast has really helped me still be productive and creative in a way that I haven't really been creative in other ways for a long time, and it's nice to still do something creative despite not being what I used to do. And as well, talking to these two, I always loved talking to Chris, but I always felt like I didn't talk to him enough. And it's kind of the same for you, Brandon. I always loved talking to you, but I didn't feel like I talked to you enough. So in some ways, it was like, I can do this and talk to 2 friends that I feel I don't talk to enough, because I don't really see them as regularly as a lot of my other friends. And I also knew I remember when we all met, when you two met for the first time, that I knew you both would get on. So yeah.
Yes. I think, like, I wouldn't say learn, but because I kind of knew it anyway, but I've always known that when you've been feeling low, because I think I was a bit similar to you, Dan. I was in a bit of a mess as well. So I started doing my writing and streaming. It, like, massively helped me, like, helped my mental state quite a large margin. So this has been fantastic for all three of us. I think it really has, and everyone listening to us waffle on is just a bonus, really. Getting together like the three of us, just having a natter about stuff that we're enjoying, just basically the same, updating each other and how life's going is it's kind of a form of therapy, isn't it? It's like group therapy. It's just like coming together and just having a natter and a bit of a moan. And sometimes you just got to say certain things, or because we have like similar interests, we talk about stuff that we haven't particularly talked to anyone else about. But we've got our own little niches. I can't necessarily talk to many people, like, say at work, about computer games because they've got no idea what the fuck I'm on about. But I can come here and talk about that. If I say I've learned one thing though, if I'm talking technical, I've learned how to use Discord. I wouldn't have like the small streamer stuff. I wouldn't have my own Discord channel if not for this. I'd just be staring at it going, fucking, like the same as TikTok.
Have a Game Boy emulator.
Don't like it. This is just another platform for those kids that aren't. But no, I've learnt to tolerate you both. Only joking, I love you both.
Like always, you can follow our social media, Instagram, Facebook. I've been debating it for a while, but I might make a Twitter for us. I've been debating it, but I think I might. So that might come up soon, but I'm still 50-50, but I think that might happen. I'm more positive on that, about doing that.
Yeah, go for it. I won't be doing it because I've got one account on Twitter and I fucking hate it.
I've got one account on Twitter and I don't even use it.
These two will be streaming like always. Well, obviously Brandon's back streaming now. I mean, I can't remember where I was when you were streaming the other day.
You said you was on the way back from Manchester, I think.
No, I was in Manchester. I think I was like, I was drinking ready to go to the strip club. I think.
While I was playing Arknights.
Yeah.
And I showed you my waifu mountain, the big panda. These two will be streaming like always. Thank you for listening to us for a year again. It's been a weird, wild ride. It's been great mentally, physically, and you know where we are. We're on Spotify, Anchor,
Audible.
Yeah. I'm going to try and get this properly on Apple Podcasts soon as well. I tried earlier, but it was a bit weird, so we will soon be on Apple Podcasts, and when we are, please give us a review. It'll be nice to see what people think about our podcast a lot more. But yes, thank you for listening.
If you lie and say that you really like the show, then will skip you off.
But you can 5 stars on Spotify as well. That's episode 28, boys. Oh my gosh, it's one of the longer ones. Probably the longest one. I don't know. So yeah, I think that's a wrap.
Bye.
Just there you go. Bye. No, you'll hear us in 2 weeks. You'll hear us in 2 weeks. Be safe.
Yeah. And whatever you do, don't buy Berserk figures off them.
Or Scotch eggs. You'd be disappointed.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to put that picture up when this episode comes out. Oh, I hate it so much.
I'm going to head straight off because it's almost ready for bed. I'm going to watch one more bit of Stranger Things before I go to bed as well.
I'm going to watch Bad Grandpa.
Well,
and Dan's going to play Vampire Survivors.
Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.